All right, so today we're doing a deep dive into a company called Symbotic,
Symbotic.
SYM on the stock ticker.
Yeah.
And listeners want to know
Mm-hmm.
if this is a company they should be looking at.
Okay.
So we're going to be diving into their company profile, their financials, and recent earnings calls.
Okay, sounds good.
And,
Yeah.
Symbotic is blending robotics and AI to kind of reinvent how warehouses work.
Interesting.
So they might be onto something big, but is it translating to profit? That's the big question.
Yeah, that's the question.
Let's find out.
Absolutely.
So to start, what does Symbotic actually do?
So they specialize in warehouse automation, and primarily they're working with those big players
Okay.
in retail and wholesale
Okay, retail and wholesale.
here in the U.S.
Got it.
And their main product, the Symbotic system, is all about increasing efficiency and streamlining inventory.
Okay.
But what's interesting is they've only been publicly traded since 2021.
That's super recent.
Super recent. So they're a fairly young company on the market.
Yeah, a young company, but they brought in over $1 billion in revenue in the last fiscal year.
Wow.
And that's
It's impressive.
up from $593 million the year before.
Okay.
So clearly growing fast.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Their net income is still negative,
Oh.
meaning they're spending more than they're bringing in.
All right.
So we've got this rapid growth, but we also have a net loss.
Mm-hmm.
In your experience, what are the key factors that investors should consider when you see this type of situation?
Well, I think it's a great point to raise, and actually, it's not uncommon at all for companies at this stage to prioritize growth over immediate profitability.
Okay.
They're pouring resources into R&D, they're scaling up their operations, trying to grab market share.
So getting their name out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense.
So the question is, can they turn this growth into sustainable profits?
Okay.
And I think to answer that, we really need to dig a little deeper into where that revenue is coming from.
Okay, so let's do that.
Yeah.
Looking at their revenue streams, it seems like.
Yeah.
Almost all of their revenue comes from these Symbotic systems that we talked about.
Right.
So that's basically the hardware and the installation of their robotic warehouses.
Mm-hmm.
And then software maintenance and support makes up a tiny fraction of their revenue.
Right. Yeah.
As an investor, how do you interpret that the vast majority of their revenue is coming from these systems?
Yeah, well, I think it suggests that currently they're more of a hardware-focused company.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that the software side can't become a bigger player.
Right.
Building a solid software platform would create recurring revenue.
Okay.
Which can really boost profitability in the long run.
Yeah, because it's that continuous revenue stream.
Right. It's not just a one-time sale.
Exactly.
So it's something to keep an eye on for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've looked at the financials, and now I want to dive into their earnings calls.
Okay.
And we have transcripts from the last 3.
Right.
These are always a great way to get,
Yeah.
Deeper understanding where the company's headed and what challenges they might be facing.
Absolutely.
So what were some of the key things that stood out to you from these calls?
Well, I think a key theme that emerged was this real focus on expanding their customer base.
Okay.
They've managed to land deals with some really big names in retail and wholesale.
Got it.
Which is a really positive sign.
That's a good sign.
Yeah. And in their most recent call, they even announced a partnership.
Oh, wow.
With a major grocery chain.
Okay.
And that could be huge.
Yeah, why is that?
Because the grocery industry is so high volume, complex logistics.
Yeah.
It's a great proving ground for Symbotic's technology.
So high stakes, high volume, high reward potentially.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So that was a really key takeaway.
Yeah, that's a great example of,
a
really insightful thing to pick up from these calls.
Yeah.
Were there any hints about obstacles or challenges that they might be facing?
They did mention supply chain constraints that are affecting installation times. And this is a widespread issue across many industries right now.
It is. It is.
Yeah, but it's something worth noting because it could potentially delay projects, impact their revenue flow.
Yeah, if they can't get products out.
It's going to impact their bottom line.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay, so zooming out a little bit.
Yeah.
How does Symbotic fit into this larger automation landscape?
Good question.
We know that labor shortages are a thing.
Huge.
The rise of e-commerce is really fueling demand for this kind of technology.
Right.
So are they leading the pack here?
I'd say they're definitely well-positioned. I mean, they're not the only player in warehouse automation.
Right.
But their technology is considered quite advanced.
Interesting.
Their system is known for its density and vertical integration, meaning they can fit more product into a smaller footprint than some competitors.
So they're really efficient with space.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the challenge for Symbotic, like any growing company, is going to be scaling up their operations and consistently delivering on their promises.
So walking the walk.
Yeah, proving themselves.
Okay, so bottom line, for someone who's considering investing in Symbotic, what are the potential rewards, but also the risks that they should be aware of?
Yeah. Well, the potential rewards are pretty considerable.
Okay.
If Symbotic can capture a big share of that growing automation market and become profitable, their stock could really take off.
Yeah, the potential for growth is definitely there.
Yeah, definitely. But, of course, there are inherent risks, too.
Yeah.
I mean, the competition is fierce.
Yeah.
Execution is crucial.
Right.
They need to navigate those supply chain issues.
Yep.
Manage their growth effectively. And ultimately demonstrate that they can turn a profit.
Right. Prove it.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, Symbotic is definitely an intriguing company.
For sure.
They're shaking up
a
massive industry.
Definitely.
We looked at their business model, their financials, their recent performance. Yeah. There's a lot to consider.
Absolutely.
Can they turn this innovative tech into sustainable profits?
It's the big question.
Big question mark.
Yeah.
Only time will tell.
Yeah.
But it'll be really interesting to watch them in this rapidly changing landscape.
Absolutely. I'll be watching.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
My pleasure. Anytime.
All right. And listeners, we'll see you on the next one.
See you later there.